And I'm back. How come y'all didn't tell me that there was a new season of Love After Lockup? We on season 6. We got a whole new season. So I'm going to give us a quick overview of season 1 and 2 so I can get caught up, because this is what I was actually waiting for. I can actually keep up with something like this. So let's get to it, shall we? So the season, and I'm just going to push everything together so it's going to be more cohesive. So we have a few new couples. I think it's like 3 new couples. So we're going to start with Savannah and Bradley. Now, Savannah and Bradley were on the last season, which was Love During Lockup. Savannah was, she was living in her a grandmother's mansion somewhere in Richmond, Virginia, and she was dating Bradley. Now, they've been together for about 2 years. So we open up the season. She's on her way to pick him up, and she's just explaining how Bradley used to be her dealer. She used to be addicted to drugs, but along the way, Bradley was there for her, helped her get through her addiction, and was there with her during her recovery process. So there is a bond there. So as he's getting out, as they're waiting for him, they do this little scene together when he gets out, and he's just going over like some of the tension that they have between his family, not really feeling Savannah too much because they do know that she was addicted to meth. And being at the fact that he was in the streets, they don't want her addictions to then come back up and have that bring him down. So there's some tension there with that. He also has a lot on his mind with the steps and getting his priorities together, things that he needs to do as far as getting his license, getting his EBT, signing up for different programs, and the fact that he does have to start a new job as soon as he gets, I think it was like the next day or the following week that he was actually starting a new job. So he's got some good things going on for him, but he just has a lot of priorities, a lot of steps that he does need to take, and he wants to try to stay on track so that way he doesn't regress. In the meantime, Savannah is in the moment, and she wants to just be in the moment. She's planning all of these things, such as having dinner with her mother. Now, Bradley wasn't too keen on having dinner with her mom, simply because they had just had beef not too long ago. Probably the week before, or he didn't really give a date, but he just basically said that they just finished having an argument about their relationship, his and Savannah's relationship. And I guess that's common. Savannah's mom wants the best for her, wants to make sure that, considering that he is getting out of prison for drugs, and being the fact that he was dealing drugs to her and she is a recovering addict, what are your plans? What are your goals? What do you plan to do as far as setting up a life and a relationship with my daughter? So there was some tension there on both ends with his family and with her family. So he's just overwhelmed with a lot coming out of prison. And just to summarize it with them, they are now back in the house together with Bradley, Savannah's mom, Savannah's grandmother, all living in that big mansion. When it comes down to the nightcap, ending the night, Savannah does let us know that she has had some insecurities with her body. She used to be 300 pounds for some time, and she's had several surgeries, one of them being a bypass and a tummy tuck. So once she had the tummy tuck, she still has some work that she wants to do. So she still has some insecurities about that. Bradley has taken note and has has noticed the change in her body, and he's kind of just basically stating like, you know, hey, when I met her, there has been a change. Before she was doing drugs, and you know, with drugs, that does, you know, you ain't eating. I mean, so I'm pretty sure then when she was heavily on the meth or whatever it is that she was doing, she was looking slim and trim, and you saw in several pictures that she probably was no more than 125 pounds. But now he's saying 150 on a 5'4". That's a pretty healthy size. That's a pretty healthy size. Get out of here. I mean, whatever. I mean, she looked good. I mean, she came a long way. Being the fact that she was 300 pounds, she did get some work done, and there's nothing wrong with that. But she has come a long way. She does look good. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do more or wanting more for yourself. But you saw a few things, a few scenes where she, you know, she was insecure about herself, and some women are. Most women are. So hey, it is what it is, and hopefully that won't be an issue that comes up. Moving along, beyond them, we got some new couples. I'm excited to see the new couples. We have Ashley and Julius. Now, this is going to be interesting. Ashley, I feel bad for Ashley. So Ashley has been with Julius for about a year. She already lets us know that she is a hopeless romantic. She has never met Julius in person, never had a visit, never met him before prison, only by phone, probably emails and letters. She's been sending him pictures only, and she did look good. Keynote, I said, well, you know what? Lord forgive me. She is a nice looking lady, but she has changed. I'm sure the pictures that she sent him were in her former day. She did admit that she used to be a dancer. And when she was a dancer, she was probably about 80 to 100 pounds lighter. Now, she sends him pictures, and of course, with these attractive pictures, of course, he's probably going to entertain and engage a conversation with her. She already has children. He is looking forward to being a stepdad. So he says. So they're making plans. She's on the phone with him. He calls her, and they're preparing for him to come home. Looking forward for his release. And he lets her know, you know, my mom is going to pick me up, so I'll probably see you later on that night. So she's kind of confused because their plans have always been they were going to be spending some quality time together. They're going to be spending the day together. And now all of a sudden your mom is picking you up, and I'm not going to see you any that day, and I'm only going to see you at night. So she already senses the red flag and the change, especially when they're getting ready to get off the phone and she says, I love you, and he does not say it in return. So she's like, well, he normally says that any other time. He's like, okay, I love you. But now he was like, all right, I'll holler at you. And so, you know, she's wondering, is there going to be some kind of change? So red flag on the play. So we're moving on from that. So just know with Ashley, there has been a change with her overall physical appearance. And I do feel like she may have some insecurities with that. She has the 2 children. She is a hopeless romantic. She found some young guy that is attractive to her online, and he is entertaining her. And she is receptive to it, and she's holding on to that. So we will see how that works. Now, what's interesting is in the midst of all of that, we also see snippets of another woman packing her clothes, also getting ready for Julius. And we're like, who this woman? Well, in comes Alex. Alex is also waiting for Julius to come home. And that's something. Now, Alex and Julius have been dating on and off for about 3 years. And she's in the healthcare business, so she's one of those people that go to different clients' home and I guess helps them with any of their nursing needs, physical needs, instead of them coming to the clinic or the hospital or the doctor. So in-home nurses, healthcare aide. Anyone in that field of study, you know exactly what she does. But anyway, Julius ends up calling her, and she goes off into the kitchen in her client's home and has this little lovey-dovey conversation. And you hear Julius saying, "Oh, I can't wait to move in with you," and all these pleasantries, basically, long story short. He's supposed to be staying with maybe his mom or his grandmother or a halfway house, but technically that's where he's supposed to be staying. But he went ahead and let her know that, I'm gonna be living with you though, right? And so she's like, okay, I'm just making sure. So anyway, it's already given ain't right activity. So she is just going ahead, and she also explains how Julius has shown her love and given her love in so many ways that she has been looking for, because she had many insecurities about herself, including her size, her weight, but Julius loves her for her. So she gets all emotional, and she just can't wait to share her time and love with Julius when he comes home. Now, both of them are getting prepared for Julius to come home. Alex is preparing nice little hearts and fruit stuff all over the bed, waiting for them to have a nice, hot, and steamy night at the apartment. And Ashley is packing up clothes. I don't know where she going or where she thinks she going, but she's packing up clothes, preparing to do something. And she also ends up meeting her friends at some party store, almost like a Party City type of place. And she's meeting up with her friends. Her friends are giving her the big warning sign, letting her know that he has had too many red flags since the beginning of their relationship. She went off and got a tattoo. Well, he promised. They must have had some kind of agreement at some point that they were going to exchange getting tattoos. She got a tattoo. He didn't. So you can see bright as day on her chest. She got that big old Julius sign on her chest. And I'm pretty sure she did it because, well, he was like, you get one, then I get one. So she got one and he didn't. So that was red flag number 1. And of course, the friends are keeping it real with her, letting her know that a man in prison is going to say anything to get what they want. But Ashley's like, well, I haven't given him any money. I haven't done anything for him. So I don't know what that could possibly mean. So of course he has to love me or want to be with me. But either way, it just makes her look very foolish, very naive when it comes to Julius, simply because the way he's talking already is just nothing is promising. He's already sounding very skeptical about a lot of things. He doesn't want to see you, number one. I mean, he's not excited to see you. So, even if his parent was coming to pick them up, in most cases, and we've seen on several episodes, that doesn't stop the girlfriend from also being there on the release date, or you're not going to at least talk about ways that you guys can meet during the day, like as soon as possible. Not like, oh, well, I'm going to just see you later on that night. And you know, if it's just going to be at night, you already know what that is. So he don't want to spend no time with you. He just, you know. So, meanwhile, as Julius said, his mama was coming to get him, or his grandmother was coming to get him. We find out that it's actually Alex. Alex is on her way in her car, on her way to the prison to pick him up. She's waiting outside the prison doors, patiently waiting for the love of her life. And after 10 minutes, we see this young guy come up with his little cornrows, somewhat similar to mine. And it happens to be Julius's brother-in-law, which is his sister's baby father. So she's like, well, this is strange because he didn't mention anything to me about his brother-in-law coming, but okay, whatever. It seems a little sneaky because I would believe that if you were going to have someone else come up here, then what would be the problem with you just mentioning something to me? So, but whatever, she let that slide. But as we move forward, another 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, we see another dude slide through on a camera screen. And it was Julius' homeboy. Now, nothing was really exchanged as far as what her commentary was on that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure if she felt some kind of way about the brother-in-law being there, I'm pretty sure she felt some kind of way about yet another dude coming. Like, what's really going on? So anyway, Julius ends up making his way out the doors of the prison, and she's all excited, and she runs up, give him a hug and whatnot. And she, mentions it to him, like, you didn't tell me your brother-in-law was coming, or you didn't tell me your peoples was coming. Like, well, I didn't know until the last minute. But he kind of like said it in passing, like real smooth, like it was very dismissive. And it's like, it wasn't like, dang, you know what? No explanation behind it or nothing. It was just like a real dismissive, like, we gonna move right on past that type of thing. So they get out there, and to make a long story short, to sum this up, Julius looked like he about to go back shortly. He don't look like he shows no interest in Alex at this moment, because I don't believe, and at this point, I don't remember them doing, how they have like those little scenes where it's, like it may have been Alex and Julius talking about, what they plan on doing when they leave or what their plans are for the future. No, it was Julius and his two homeboys, his brother-in-law and his friend, talking about, oh, my homie, we ain't been able to link up, we ain't been able to party, my bro, he been locked up for so long, he missed out on so much of his years since he was 18, in and out, doing this, that, and the other. All the girls he could have been talking to, and da 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 da. So it was more about him being released and getting his freedom back. And this man gets in the car with his friends, not with Alex. So red flag to Alex. He ain't checking for you. So he's with his friends. He got his phone. He has his independence to call and do whatever he wants. He has access to the world, as he says it. He wanted to make sure that his brother-in-law pulled over to the side so he can go holler at the dudes in the hole. Like, that's so immature, so ignorant. Like, you are done with that life. Like, I get it. Like, those are your peoples. You was locked up with them for 6 years. You didn't say bye to them before you left. And at this point, it's like you should have been with. Who told Alex to come if you wanted to be with your boys? Why did she even need to be there? She just sitting there trailing in the car behind you. But anyway, that's just going to make me mad. I just happened to pick up that at the end, and it kind of just fired me up, because had that been me, I would have been heated. I would have just peeled off and left, and he would have been kicking it with his homies and lose my number. But, you know, they've been together for 5 years and whatever. 3 years and whatever, whatnot. So it's whatever. So then we have Quiana and Demerock. They are interesting. I want to say kind of cute couple. I shouldn't say that, but they are. And I'm going to tell you why to me. Because Quiana does have a sense of innocence, and she's naive at the same time, though. But they have a story. Their families know each other, so I'm assuming that their families were family friends. They've known each other. When she was 12, she kind of had a crush on him when he was 16. He went off to college. He wanted to be sports management or something along those lines. But anyway, he went to college, but he ended up getting involved with the wrong group of friends, so he says. And trouble just seemed to follow him that way, as far as just getting into all types of mess. And it just snowballed. I don't know what happened. We don't know if he got kicked out of school or whatever happened, but he ended up coming back home and gave it a shot with Quiana. Probably because at that point she was of age, because he's already explained to us that at that time she was 12, I was 16. Like, holla at me when you are my age. But of course, you know, by the time he got back from college, she was probably 17, 18 or something like that. And they went ahead and gave it a shot. But by that time, he was probably knee deep in getting in trouble, and he went off to jail. So what it looks like is both of them come from a good family background. It's just that Demerock just made some messed up decisions in his life that's gotten him into some legal trouble. And Quiana is just head over heels in love with this man, because that was her first boyfriend, probably her first. And ever since he's been kind of in and out or doing whatever he's been doing, she's probably been trying to have some kind of relationships. But since she's so naive, and which she did mention, she would just kind of fall for any and everything, which she is still continuing to do. From the looks of it, you know, she's a stylist. She goes to her shop, talks to the shop owner and one of her co-workers, and, you know, they're chopping it up, talking about Demerock coming home. And of course, once again, people that care for you, or, you know, who are looking from the outside in, are giving you these warning signs that, look, Demerock has not had a good track history with you, and it seems that he uses you every time. You know, he always is in and out of jail. He always comes to you, but he always ends up cheating on you as well. And when things don't work out, he comes back to you because he knows that you love him and you're kind of just gonna take him back. And Demerock got 6 kids by, I believe it's 3 different baby mamas. And the last time he got locked up and came out, he ended up cheating on Quiana with a lady by the name of Joella. Now, Joella is going to be in this storyline at some point, in and out. But Joella ended up getting pregnant with Demerock's baby while he was with Quiana. And Quiana still decided to move forward with the relationship. And now there's tension there because Joella is still there. There's tension with the family. They went to Demerock's father's house to pick up some clothes as they were on the way to go pick up Demerock. And they went ahead and explained how Quiana has beef with Demerock's sister because Demerock's sister gave Joella a ride home, knowing that, you know, well, that's his ex baby mama, I'm his girlfriend. Like, there's some kind of, you know, betrayal there. Like, you should be for me and not still kicking it with Joella. So Demaroc's sister is like, hey, he gonna do what he gonna do anyway. And so I guess she's really not she ain't choosing no sides. She talks to Joella after they leave, and Joella lets us know that she talked to him just last night. And not only did she talk to him last night, but she also received several inboxes from other women about him. So he's still out there doing all types of stuff. So it's not just Joella that Quiana needs to worry about. So I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, they go pick him up. Their G-Pa, which is Quiana's stepfather, which is a really good guy. He's very supportive, clearly. That's her stepfather, and he's very supportive of their relationship. They go pick him up from the prison. They're having like a nice little heart-to-heart talk on the way home, and Demaroc seems, or he's portraying to say that, hey, I have a good head on my shoulders. I want to do right. He has to be at the halfway house by 2 o'clock. They made it there by 2:15. Once they drop him off, they thought they were going to be dropping him off just to get an ankle monitor put on, but they ended up waiting for over 2.5 hours. After 2.5 hours of waiting, Quiana was like, I'm just going to go ahead and check it out and see what happens. So she goes inside and finds out that they are actually going to hold him there at the halfway house. She gets upset. And she's disappointed because now she can't take home my man. And, then it just goes through a whole cycle of how the system is unfair. He's done his time, this, that, and the other. But mind you, he's not released. The whole point of him being on the monitor program is the fact that they are giving him somewhat of an early release, but the ankle monitor is going to be placed on his ankle until he's officially released. So he's actually still incarcerated, but they're just allowing him to do his final weeks or months, whatever time frame this was at the time that this was recorded, at home. So it sucks, but that's just what happens when you're with an inmate. So, and then we also have a new couple, and it's Brooklyn and Brian. We're gonna make this real quick because they were just being introduced in season 3. Brooklyn and Brian. Brooklyn is a young female. We can't even figure out whether or not they was together 6 months or 6 years. She's out to brunch or dinner or lunch with her brothers and some family friends, and they're all talking about the relationship and Brian being released. The brother is like, well, you've been with him. I'm just now hearing about him, and I don't know whether it's been 6 months or 6 years. And it's kind of giving me fake vibes, like this isn't a real storyline. Y'all are just doing this to be on TV, but we don't know yet, because it's just how the sister or maybe the friend knew more than the brother did, and she was just trying to hold the secret for Brooklyn. But anyway, long story short, the brother was basically telling Brooklyn, don't be no fool. Don't let him use you, because they have come into some money based on a lawsuit that they received from their mother's death. So it must have been a substantial amount. She has been breaking Brian off, but now that he's getting out, just don't be no fool. Does he really love you? Do you know if he really loves you? What is he going to do for you? What is he plan? What are your plans when you get out? And so she gets fed up with the whole conversation, walks away from the dinner table, and it just so happens that Brian must have called her. So she's venting to Brian about the conversation that's happening at the dinner table, and she is showing some insecurity because it probably did hit her heart a little bit. And so she was like, do you even love me? Do you love me? He was like, well, what is all this coming from? Well, obviously it's because of all this stuff that her brother is saying, and you can't help but to think that some of it could be true. Like, what happens if you do come home and start to flip the script? So we don't know what's there. Anyway, and we do know that he has had some other relations with other women during their relationship. Some girl in New Jersey that she thought that she almost had to try to run up on, and it's been an ongoing joke. So we do know that there's some involvement with infidelities that may be lying underneath the surface. So we really don't know what's going there, but we'll see how that happens as the season continues. We also have Brooke and JK. They are a new couple. They're kind of cute or whatever. They are in Texas, and she's a down home Texas gal. She has 2 boys, and it seems like she's also looking for a man and a father for her children, because the children's fathers left shortly after them being born, and so she's been raising these kids all on her own, I'm sure with her family's help. And JK is willing to step up to the plate. Now, the only thing with JK is that JK is a ladies' man, and Brooke has some jealousy issues. One of the strange, ironic things is that JK has a friend named Bonnie. They used to date way back in the day. Now they're just simply friends. But now Bonnie is now Brooke's roommate, which is strange, but I guess it's cool. She's okay with it. She doesn't believe that they're still doing anything behind closed doors, and I don't either. But also, there is another ex somewhere lurking in the shadows by the name of Alex. And we don't know if Alex is going to come up in the story later on, but Alex has been lurking around trying to figure out what's going on with JK. She's been asking family and friends about him. What is he doing? When is he coming out? And all that kind of stuff like that. And Brooke just wants to make sure that there's not going to be any issues. She wants to make sure that everything is going to be in the up and up, and she don't have to lay no hands on anybody. JK, on the other hand, he seems to be so far on the up and up. He's just ready to get out and get his life together. But we just don't know. So we shall see what's going on with that. Another couple from the old season or the prior season is Joey and Michael. This is one of those couples where, I feel bad for Joey, but then I don't. Joey was a former addict that is recovered or still recovering. He comes from a good family. Dad's super cool. But his dad has some concerns with him dating Michael, who has probably only recovered because he went to prison. And now he's coming out, and he has not been able to stay sober at any point being in and out of prison, because he's been in several times, but he's never been able to stay sober. And Joey is that type of partner that wants to be your savior, and you can't save everyone. The only thing that Joey is concerned about, as well as his family, is that Michael may draw him back into the addiction that he just recovered from. Meanwhile, Joey is trying to help Michael recover, and we're not sure if Michael really wants to recover. And Michael's mom is skeptical of him actually being able to recover too. So, at some point, Joey, in preparing to pick up Michael, Joey goes to Michael's mom's house, and they have Michael's phone, and they changed the number, they did a factory reset, deleted all the numbers, so that way he wouldn't be able to have any of his old contacts anymore, which is a good thing. But once Joey picked him up from prison, and Michael's going through his phone like, okay, like, let's see what we got going on here. And he's like, oh snap, what did y'all do? I can't believe y'all just went and reset my phone and did all this. Do you know that regardless, I'm gonna find a way to do what I want to do if I want to do it. There's nothing that you can do to stop me. And that's true. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do when it comes to maybe someone with an addiction. If they want it bad enough, whatever it is, people are going to find a way or make a way to do what they want to do. So, and you can try to stop them all you want to, but if he want it bad enough, he gonna get it. So we can already see a red flag there. We also get to find out a little bit more about Michael, where he does tell us that he never wanted to be a he was battling himself being a homosexual. He even prayed that God would take it away from him. He went to the Navy, he met someone, and I think that he was scared of that kind of love, to be loving another man or in that way, or having a relationship with another man. So he sabotaged it, ruined that relationship, and probably ruined that person. And ever since then, he turned to drugs and has been in a downward spiral ever since. And so the dynamic with that relationship, what I'm getting is that Joey is loud and proud. Now, I don't know what turned him to drugs. Maybe it was in one of the prior seasons. I don't know what turned him to drugs, because at some point he was also on meth, but he recovered. But he was messing, dealing with different various men, whatever the case may be. And at some point they were doing meth together. They were together doing it, and they were living it up. And when you live in that party life, all is well, and you just lusting and drugging and drinking and partying and doing all that. Life is great when you're having fun. But now that Joey is sober and Michael is sober, Joey is concerned about their compatibility intimately, because they're no longer, they no longer have that drug to bond them together that way. And he's a little bit more reserved when it comes to sexuality, and Michael is a little bit more free. Somehow at some point he just was out there, and that probably came from the drugs. If you're out there in the streets and no money, and you struggling to do this and that, you might have done a little something strange for some change, and at that point you threw being reserved and timid out the window, because you done did it all, done it all. So now he's cool with it, and he's free with the life now. But I guess at this point he's found someone that's willing to accept him for who he is, willing to help him get on his feet, willing to give him some stability. He wants to try it out, and I just hope that and just like Michael's mom said, I hope that you don't bring Joey down, for the sake of Joey and for the sake of Joey's family, because Joey's family really, really supports him, and they love him, and they were just so heartbroken to see that he even wants to engage in this relationship, because they just don't want to see him where he was. So it kind of hurt them. So that's my wrap up. I just wanted to give a quick overview to not only catch myself up, because the next episode is going to come out on April 4th. I just found out about this last night, and I didn't want to make this too long, but I had to try to condense 2 episodes into one almost 30 minutes. So I hope that you enjoy it. Next time I'll probably have something a little bit more detailed. But I wanted to give you as much as I can in a small period of time and get something out to y'all. So join me next time. I'm out.